Feeling declined back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody. Welcome everyone to Coffee Club this morning, and of course my co-host this morning is Laura Lee. And Laura, let's run through our sponsors real quick. Good morning.
Absolutely. We have Walmart, Meadowview, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentucky Cat Court, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn.
Thank you to our sponsors. All right, by phone we do have from LA this morning, and I know we're in a different time zone, so I got to give a special thank you to David Glass, and a famous attorney. And David, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning on Coffee Club.
Good morning. Great to be here.
And we're going to be talking about a topic that, it's you hear all this, and, I've been for weeks free Britney and hearing all these rumors. And of course, we just kind of want to get a little bit of clarity and explain a little bit from a reporter and an attorney's side about what Britney's going through right now and what's going on with the family.
Sure. So Britney's been in this conservatorship for over 13 years. She originally went into the conservatorship because she was having some sort of mental health problems. She wasn't taking care of herself. She wasn't spending her money wisely, and her father stepped in. But what's unusual is that it has lasted this long and taken this long for either the public to take notice or for the court room to take notice. So she's been speaking up, and now she's got her fans speaking up, trying to get her out of this conservatorship.
Okay, and 13 years ago, so she did this willingly. She knew she was having issues and knew that she needed help. Is that correct?
It's unclear. Most conservatorships are not done voluntarily. It's a conservatorship is when a family member.
Explain what. Thank you.
Sure. So a conservatorship is when a family member comes into court and says, "My family member isn't taking care of themselves. They either got a mental illness or a physical illness. They're suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's typically, and they don't have the memory. They don't have the cognitive ability to, number one, take care of themselves, their personal decisions, health care, whether they need to see a therapist, what medications they need to take. Or number two, they're not taking care of their estate. They're not handling their money well. They're spending their money. They're not saving it. They're giving it away, something like that. And so that's what happened 13 years ago. They're never voluntary. If a family member comes in and says, my family member needs help, and I'm stepping up to take over these decisions.
Now, was that 13 years ago? I'm sorry, I'll get off this, but I'm just trying to understand. 13 years ago, when he suggested this, and it was her father, right? That correct, Jamie, that did this?
That's correct.
Okay. Was it hard for him to prove that, or what evidence did he have that she was having trouble, or is that when she shaved her head? Is that what we're talking about? Or I can't remember 13 years ago with Britney. I don't remember.
Yeah, she was relatively out of control. She was out all night driving around. She had shaved her head in a barber's shop. She had attacked members of the paparazzi with an umbrella. She was spending money wildly and generally acting unhinged. But at the time, her father, Jamie Spears, came into court, and he had to present the testimony of doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists to show that, number one, she was suffering from some sort of mental illness, and that, number two, she had lost the capacity to make the logical decision-making choices to take care of herself. So that's how all this started.
Okay, and what about her children at the time? So would she have had them taken away, or where was that? Was that included in this?
It wasn't included, but it was a side legal action. She was already divorced from Kevin Federline. Right. Her children were elementary school aged at that time. Now they're late teenagers. But they, at the time, when her father went into conservatorship court and got the conservatorship put in place, her ex-husband, Kevin Federline, went into family court and said she's been deemed to lack the capacity, and I need to be the sole parent for these children. And that decision was made by the family court. Over time, Britney was able to build up visitation with the children, where she sees them regularly at her house on the weekend or on a weeknight for dinner, but she's never come close to being the 50-50 parent she was before this conservatorship.
Okay. Now let's go back. So we're in a new day, and so 13 rolling back now to present day, 13 years. So she is asking for this. This is what the I'm just trying to, maybe for those that are not familiar with this, this is what the whole big deal is. Now she's asking for this to be dropped, correct?
That's right. So Brittany, about 2 months ago, asked the court through her court-appointed attorney to have the opportunity to address the court directly, something she had not done over all the previous time she was in this conservatorship. And during that testimony on June 23rd, it lasted for about 24 minutes. She gave a very strong, impassioned speech about how she felt she was being held against her will,
right,
how people weren't taking good care of her, how she didn't think that she needed the conservatorship anymore. And then at the very end, she asked for the ability to hire her own attorney, that she was dissatisfied with the work that the court-appointed attorney had been doing for her. And that led to the follow-up hearing just about a week ago, where Courtney again addressed the court, and the court responded by giving her the opportunity to hire her own attorney, to fire the court-appointed attorney. And now her own attorney has told the court that they will absolutely be filing the papers necessary to end the conservatorship.
Okay, and going back, is this normal in this conservatorship? Is this normal, a 13-year period, and then they get where they feel like they're better, or want to go ahead and be more independent? Is that something normal, or is that something? How is this usually played out, I guess?
Yeah, well, Brittany's case is extremely not normal in just about every way you would look at it. Number one, most mental health conservatorships, where people go in because they're suffering from mental illness, last about a year. People get into the conservatorship. The person who's put in charge of their decisions gets them to see a therapist, gets them to start taking medication. After about a year, the symptoms subside, and they're let out of the conservatorship. Most conservatorships are for older people suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, who simply don't have the memory or the cognitive power to take care of themselves. And so older people conservatorships tend to go on indefinitely until they die, and they never stand up and say, I need to be let out of this, because frankly they don't have the mind power to do that. So going back to Brittany, the fact that it's been a long time in a conservatorship created after mental health problems is extremely unusual. And there just are not a lot of cases out there to look at to say this is typical or this is atypical.
Okay, so going back, can we fault the dad? Let's go back to Jamie, because I know there's a lot of angry people at him. Okay, so let's say, so when 13 years ago, when he received this conservatorship, was it just about the money, or did he work to help to get her help? Like, did he suggest, or did he try to find therapists for her? Did he try to get her where this would be over sooner?
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. The public perception of her father's job has been shaped primarily by her complaints made during these last two statements to the court. Yes. But if you look at the court records, 13 years ago, Brittany had less than $3 million in her estate, which is plenty of money for most of us. But for the biggest pop sensation of the 90s, that's not a lot of money. She had been giving away her money. She'd been gifting all sorts of expensive gifts, and she didn't have a budget. And so when he took over 13 years ago, less than $3 million. Now, she has over $60 million in her estate. So he's done a very good job from a financial planner and budgeting and keeping her in line so that she's been able to amass an estate typical of someone of her star power. He also contracted for her. He set up a world tour and set up a Las Vegas residency. So in all these fashions, he's done absolutely what he's supposed to have done. The problems here are that Brittany says that he was very strict with what she could do and who she could see and what medication she had to take, and she felt he was very heavy-handed that way. That the situation where he's taking care of her personal decisions was resolved 2 years ago when the court put someone else in charge of her personal decisions. A professional fiduciary named Jody Montgomery is now making those decisions for her, and Jamie Spears is only in charge of her money.
Okay, so I'm hearing about that, but did he I you know, I'm hearing, I guess, the more, okay, I'm my girlfriends, you know, I mean, from the girl side, we are like, you know, free Britney, you know, she's being held against her will, you know.
I guess, like, my question is, why has it took 13 years for her to speak up and go back to court and ask for it to be removed? Why wasn't that done sooner? Why wasn't...
Right, and it's completely unclear why it took so long. Each year, the court sends out an investigator 2 times a year to meet with the conservatee, to meet with Britney, to meet with her attorney, to meet with her talent manager, and to try and see what was going on. All of those reports are sealed. They're not revealed to the case, so it's unclear what those investigations revealed. But you can put bets on the fact that if there was some problem and if Britney were speaking up over those 13 years in those twice yearly reports saying that something was wrong, that the court would have taken notice of it and would have had hearings and gathered more information. And so it's really unclear why Britney just didn't speak up or didn't speak up in the right fashion or didn't talk to the right people, why it took so long for this to get back to court.
And okay, so in the financial, I do know, yeah, and I know that there was a big ordeal, like that, you know, that there was a time in Vegas that she didn't want to perform, she didn't feel like it, and she was sick or something, and I know they made her do that, and I know that she I've heard that too. Of course, you know, some of my stuff might be rumors, so I'm not gonna 100% on that, but I guess the other question, and maybe you did explain this, but I didn't catch it. Did they try to get her help? I mean, has the dad, like, tried to get therapy for her, or tried to get her talking with somebody, or tried to get her some mental health during all this too?
Yes, absolutely. That was part of, in the first year of his conservatorship, the father had to set up a care plan and explain to the court what kind of treatment she was getting. So he found a psychiatrist to prescribe medication, and he found a therapist to do talk therapy. And again, one of the things Britney has complained about in her last 2 speeches to the court was, number one, she doesn't like the therapist that she's seeing because she feels like his office is too public and the paparazzi are always waiting there. She'd like a therapist to come to her home so she can discuss things in private. And number 2, the other thing she's complaining about is the medication, that she feels that she's on too much medication. And in particular, she complained about being prescribed lithium, an extremely strong medication prescribed for people with bipolar disorder, which used to be called manic depression. She's complained about that medication, telling the court she feels completely out of it when she's on that med.
Right. Well, so I mean, that sounds kind of, I mean, it sounds I mean, like you understand that, but what would be so I guess the dad, and of course now they're also going after, you know, the public is not happy with the sister either, because they feel like the sister has supported the dad. Am I correct on that too?
Yeah, she's been complaining lately about her sister. She's also made some complaints about her mother. She basically said that her family did not step up and no one came to her side. No one helped her out when she needed the help most. And now, in a Johnny-come-lately sort of way, that the family members are saying, yeah, free Britney, now that it's become a popular cause.
Right. And of course, now, how do you feel about, like, you know, like there were certain videos that, like, and I know this might be something kind of silly, but like where, like, Britney, if you are being held, you know, do something during the video, and she's done that, and so like her audience, her fans have all felt that she's been held in this, and of course they're Team Britney on this. But so this morning you're showing us the other side too, and I think there's 2 sides to every story, right? Or maybe 3.
Yeah, there's usually multiple sides, but in this case, most people have only heard of the complaints that she's made, yes, which are all valid.
Right.
If any of us were held under this sort of conservatorship, we'd have similar complaints. Right. The other side has largely not been discussed and is either in sealed court files or in the minds of her father and her treating therapist and the attorney who represented her. What is clear at this point is that the court has sat up straight and is taking notice and is moving things as quickly as it can. It gave her own attorney, a very strong litigator who has promised to get her out of this conservatorship. And I expect in the next 3 to 6 months, the court will go through all of the tedious processes it needs to go through in order as capable and able to leave a conservatorship.
And then from there, I guess, I wonder now, how does that normally work? Will the relationship, will there be ties cut with the family, or do you think that the family, they'll maybe be a different relationship? How do you take on that, I guess?
Again, there's not a lot of precedent for people coming out of these conservatorships and taking over their own lives. But if you look at celebrity cases where celebrities, Elton John, or other singers have felt like their management team has not been benefiting them, they typically cut ties with all of the people who are managing them and bring in an entirely new team. So Britney would need to choose a talent manager, someone to book her for a job. She would need to choose a business manager, someone to pay her bills and to give her a budget. And she would need to hire a financial analyst, someone who would, a stockbroker, manage her money and make sure her estate stayed as high as possible. That'll be completely within Britney's control, and then it'll be up to her to make good decisions. And she could go either way, as any of us could. She could make very good decisions on the people she hires and do very well, or she could pick poorly and as a result do very poorly in a monetary fashion and also on a personal basis.
Right. So I guess it's very interesting. And then now, since she's hired her own attorney, that's where I've heard, and clarify this for me, that possibly they're just going to settle this and settle it possibly out of court. Is that what you're thinking too, or is this going to go? Where do you think this will go? Getting her own attorney.
Right now, it does not look like this case will settle. It should.
Okay.
That there are enough smart people involved that they should be able to figure it out. The last court appearance on the 14th, one of the attorneys described to the court as lawyers gone wild. It was wild accusations being thrown from all corners, from all the attorneys representing all the interests, and they just couldn't seem to get along. And the judge interrupted the attorneys and said, people, you've got to figure out how to work collaboratively. You've got to get in the same room, talk about what the issues are, figure out what some problem-solving techniques you could use are, and figure this out. And so hopefully the attorneys heard the court and will heed her notice and go forward and try to resolve this privately. Right.
And do you, it's sad. I mean, no matter what side you're on or what you feel, I mean, either way, this is a lot of emotion. And I think so many people have grown to love Britney, from the, starting off as the Mouseketeer, a Mickey Mouse Club, and watching her grow in her career and her performing. I mean, she's fantastic. Her music. I mean, you've got so many people that have grown up and love Britney and feel very passionate and close to her, even though they've never even met her. Correct?
Yeah, and she's been in the public eye her entire life.
Yes.
Maybe to her own detriment. It's very hard to grow up in the public eye and to grow up in anything close to what you would call, quote, normally. But yeah, at this point, she has the public solidly behind her. Those people have brought her case to the attention of people across the country. It's forced the court to look at her case in a very close fashion on a very fast schedule. So all those things are benefiting her. But yes, it is a very sad story that she was so popular, so talented, and that she's seemingly been under someone's thumb for a very long time.
Right. And David, are you just staying like neutral, or how do you kind of side? What do you think? Do you think she should be given back the power, and and will be fine on her own, or what are you kind of thinking, or are you making any statements yet?
Yeah, it's a very difficult place to be as an attorney because the court has obviously found that she lacks the capacity. On the other hand, it's a very unusual situation to be under conservatorship for mental illness. There are plenty of celebrities out there, and I'm not going to name names, who act in a crazy way, who apparently suffer from mental illness, and no one steps in to control their lives. But where I come down right now is that the parties involved need to figure out a way to get this conservatorship undone. Her father, whatever good he has been able to do, he's now being hampered because Britney doesn't believe he's doing the right job. And so he should probably resign. And then Britney should be permitted to choose her own person to manage her money issues. And then on the personal issues, at this point, she's either been in treatment or under medication for long enough that she can start making her own decisions, again, for better or for worse. She could decide, I don't need therapy anymore, and maybe her mental status gets worse, or maybe she's actually fine and she doesn't need the therapy anymore. All those questions remain out there, but the bottom line is that Brittany should be given the opportunity to make these decisions for herself.
Right, and let's go back then. And I know I'm sorry if I've got the cart before the horse. I'm sorry on this, but going back in her early stages, her dad, I always thought, was one of her biggest fans, and I always thought like he was. Am I correct on this? Maybe I'm off on this, but I always thought he was her manager, and I always thought he had her best interests when she was little. Is that not, or was there somebody else that handled that?
Oddly enough, he was relatively uninvolved when she was young. It was her mother who was directing her career. All the news articles and the historical pieces indicate that it was her mother who took her to become a Mouseketeer and who got her singing and dancing lessons and who helped her find her manager. And her father was relatively uninvolved. Only became involved in a technical sense, in a managerial sense, when he took over her estate. So he was largely out of it. And Brittany has complained, again, in the speeches that she's made to the court, that she remembers her dad wasn't involved, that he used to come home drunk late at night when she was a little girl, all sorts of bad things like that. But apparently, at the time, he was the only family member willing to step up and take on this heavy burden.
Well, okay, so where's the mom in all this? Okay, so let's say, do you think that maybe she's like staying silent because she might not, and I'm speculating, that maybe she doesn't agree with what the father has done?
Yeah, Brittany's mom has been largely silent throughout this. At the last two hearings, she did appear via phone with an attorney, and at the very last hearing, her attorney argued that the father is not the right person at this point, that the court should consider appointing a professional fiduciary, a money manager who's neutral, who has no relationship to Brittany, to just manage her money. So her mother has suddenly come on the scene and started complaining about things, but it's unclear where she's been all this time.
Right. Yeah, you would think she would be more involved. You would think, I've not heard much about her. And what about the sister? And which is very confusing because her name's Jamie too, right?
Right. Her name's Jamie Lynn. She has her father's mother's name combined.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, a little odd.
Yeah. Okay. So for our audience, the sister Jamie Lynn, where does she stand on this? What's her take? Have we heard any more about her from her?
She's made very few public statements about it. She made a statement that she stands behind her sister and that she's remained quiet because she didn't want to mix in, but it's really unclear where she is, whether she thinks that this thing is necessary or if she thinks this thing is awful. I think she's been smart to stay out of it because, again, it's not her fight. She can be there for her sister in a private way, in any way possible. But if I were her, I would just stay out of it because public opinion could turn against her very quickly based on any sort of misstatement or mistaken idea of what she's trying to say.
Right, and I think they have, because I think that was I've heard a lot of people that are really upset with her because they felt like she wasn't doing as much. But my understanding was she was more of the behind the scenes. She was supporting Brittany, but it was more of the behind the scenes, I guess. So, and we know there's those that are not publicly doing, things, but are still involved.
That's right. And again, Brittany has come out since the last hearing and complained about all of her family members and all of the people managing her, saying, how could you stand by and let this happen?
Yes.
She's obviously very angry. She may be blaming people on a heavier level than their right to be blamed for. But at this point, she needs the ability to make her own decisions, again, positive or negative.
Okay, and let's talk about the judge real quick. How would a judge receive all of this information? I mean, and try to sort through and figure it out. I guess, ultimately, the judge will be making the decisions, but I'm just wondering, this is, like you said, this is not a normal case. What will he be looking for? What will he listening to? Is there any certain keys that will help him in his decisions?
Well, the court is obligated to listen to all evidence presented to her. She's now heard from Brittany directly. And while it's impassioned and powerful and very brave sort of testimony that Brittany's given, it does not give the court the type of evidence it needs to get Brittany out of this. It's now going to be up to her attorney to convince her that she needs medical experts. She needs a doctor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, some sort of known professional to come into court and say, I've looked at her, I've interviewed her, I've reviewed her medical charts, and she no longer meets the qualifications for being kept in this conservatorship. Brittany has bristled against that idea. She said she doesn't want any more evaluations. I just don't see how the court can let her out of the conservatorship without some sort of expert opinion saying where Brittany may have suffered previously, right now she's not suffering from those symptoms.
Okay, so let's just do this side of the coin. Let's say that she doesn't get out of it and she stays in this. So again, will that still proceed where the dad has control over her and like makes her? I guess apparently, am I correct on this? Her performances, she stopped performing because of this until she gets control of her money.
She's saying she's retired. Was the last thing that I read.
Is that something that he will like want her to go back on the road and perform and make more money, or will she be able to do what she wants to do as far as staying in retirement or whatever?
Yeah, well, I think from an initial standpoint, there's plan A and plan B. Brittany's plan A is, I want this conservatorship gone. I think plan B, if the court were unwilling to wipe it out entirely, would be to replace her father with some other neutral money manager. So that's plan A and plan B. Then as to the question as to her willingness to work, if she's unwilling to work, no one's going to make her work. And while her father did set her up on that world tour and with the Las Vegas residency and helped her build up her money, right now she has enough money to live the rest of her life very comfortably. So I don't see anyone making her work. And she's made it clear that she's not going to work while she feels it's being done involuntarily.
Right. Yeah. Right. Wow. Well, this is a lot. So, okay. So where do we go from here? Then what's next on the agenda then, I guess? When's the next court, or what's going on from here?
The next court hearing is going to be on September 29th, again at 1:30 Pacific time. And the court has specifically scheduled for the 29th two things. It wants to hear from Jody Montgomery, the conservator of her person, as to an updated treatment plan. The court wants to hear what kind of treatment does she still need, if any, what kind of therapy should she be in, and what kind of medication should she be under, again, if any. And the other thing it wants to hear is it wants to hear from Brittany's new attorney as to the reasons why she feels the conservatorship should no longer be in place. So finally, the court will have all of the pleadings and all of the arguments necessary to start making decisions about either throwing out this conservatorship or putting in someone new to manage the money. All these hearings that have led up to this point have all been preliminary. It's going to come to a head on September 29th.
Right. And David, are you stepping out? Are you telling what you feel, or can we get your personal opinion before we leave, or?
Sure. No, my personal opinion, again, from reviewing the docket and then attending the last two hearings, and from watching public opinion shift strongly in her favor, is that the court is going to be compelled to let her out of this conservatorship within the next 3 to 6 months. A half step towards that may be to have Jamie Spears step down as the conservator of her estate to give her some relief from feeling that she's under her father's thumb. But ultimately, the court's going to have to let her out of it.
Right. But maybe on some a little bit of strings attached as far as making sure that someone is being responsible with her money or getting help in that way. Maybe.
Unfortunately, the court doesn't have that halfway option. The court it's a binary yes or no option.
Okay.
Either she doesn't have the ability to manage her own money and her own personal decisions, and the court puts someone in to make that decision, or she's let out and she's completely on her own with no court oversight. The court doesn't have that halfway position, perhaps unfortunately, in this situation.
Very interesting. Wow, this is a lot. Well, I really appreciate, you really explain things, and how awesome, David, because you hear things, and there's so much out there, and to get it firsthand on explaining that and explaining where the dad's coming from, to where she's coming from. And, I have to say,
I'm thinking like medical side, like was it like acute, like only a short term mental breakdown, or are these chronic long term mental problems that she's always going to experience? I don't know. I'm on the fence with it of whether she should have it or not have it. I don't know.
well, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid and wearing a T-shirt, free Britney, okay?
Sounds good. And I think all of that information is going to come out, and we're finally going to hear what kind of symptoms has she been suffering, and how long has she been suffering? What has she done to get out from under it, and how is she potentially feeling better? So I think we're going to hear all that probably on September 29th.
Right. And I hope that that if this does get dropped, I hope the mom kicks in, or somebody kicks in, maybe the sister or somebody, and lets her know that that it's not bad. It's not bad. We've really tried to take the label off mental health, and talking with people and getting help. There's nothing wrong with that. And we've really, I feel like these days everybody has really been more acceptable about that. Don't you feel that way?
Absolutely, and then certainly out here on the West Coast, the courts and the public understand that that mental illness is something to deal with just the way you would deal with a cold, or if you had cancer, or any sort of medical problem. You can get treatment and you can get the help, and there shouldn't be a bias against it. Maybe it wasn't that way over a decade ago, but certainly now there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think our society's done well to get that across. And I know, we've talked about it several times and how important it is. And so we'll see where it goes from there. David, thank you so much. You are awesome. And I appreciate you explaining and being very patient because I sure have some clarity now that I did not know. So I appreciate that. So
My pleasure.
Let's talk again. Have a great day. And I guess it's beautiful weather there in LA this morning.
Yeah, it's still dark, but it looks like it's going to be a hot and dry day.
Well, it was fun waking up with you and having coffee. Keep up the great work, David. We'll talk again, okay?
Great talking to you guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that's attorney David Glass, and he explained that to us and the arrangement. Wow, that's a lot. Laura, are you in awe over there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you thinking of words to use?
I totally agree that she should get a chance to prove herself. However, I think working in healthcare as long as I have, yes, some of them with different mental illnesses, they do learn how to control and live a normal life. I almost feel that she's been in this conservatorship for so long, and she's had the decisions made for her for so long.
Right.
I just hope she doesn't go wild when she gets those freedoms back and make very bad decisions and end up in the same situation or worse.
Well, but then you go back. Sometimes you have to get knocked down to look up. You have to get some of those those not popular decisions. Or I'm not saying she should. I hope she stays under control. But maybe if somebody close to her, hopefully there's some people that she can rely on, people that are, I guess, closer to her that she can talk to, or maybe she can get that help, or somebody that can help her with the finances. And there's people that you can do that you can hire to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm hopefully, and I'm sure she will use some of that maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
I hope so.
But it's been big, watch the video, and Brittany, tell us if you are being held against your will, like blink or whatever, and then and then she'll blink. Have you about that?
Haven't.
Yeah. It's like, Brittany, tell us if you've been. I can't remember exactly. Brittany, while she's performing, tell us if you're being held against your will. And that's where the free Brittany, and like she'll do something, But anyway, so very interesting for sure. So
I don't know. It's just very unique that nothing was brought up. in all of these years, and I mean, especially, I didn't realize they were reevaluating it twice a year.
Yeah.
So you would think in that time,
Yeah, 13
span,
years later, yeah.
that's a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's a very long time. So there's clearly a reason that
Yeah.
we're not hearing about.
Right.
There's
right.
something. I think.
Well, my prediction, if it goes the other way, that there'll be a lot of angry fans.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm
so.
sure. I don't know. I'm trying
Yep.
to see both sides of it.
I know.
I'm trying to
Well,
be a realist and
I
be
know.
hopeful for her. I wouldn't want to live like that. I mean, I would want
Wouldn't
the kids
either.
to live
Yeah.
a life.
Yeah. And she's worked for this money. She's performed for this money. She's done the work. I mean, she ought to have the money.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. So we'll see. Time will tell. All right, it is Friday. Finally Friday. Fantastic Friday. And maybe just a little freaky Friday. George Jones talks about finally Friday. This is, today is hot enough for you day. It says hot enough for you day, but hot enough for you day? Is it hot enough for you day? I'm going to have to say it all day long.
All day.
All day long. Every day, every day, every day. I'm going to have to do that. Okay. Is it hot enough for you today? Yes, it is going to be hot enough. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
It's going to be hot, which we're going to tell you 5 ways to cool your house down when you don't have air conditioning.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Ready? Because this goes side by side with are you hot enough for you today? Okay. All right.
All right. I'm
Number
ready.
1, keep your windows closed and covered.
Oh.
If the air outside is hotter than the air inside, keeping the windows shut will help the inside of your house stay a little cooler. Then at night, when it's colder outside, open them.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Number 2, install window film. Blocking solar UV rays from entering your house can help keep temperatures down. Some window films prevent 75% of the sun's heat from entering into your home. And it's cheap, about $30 on Amazon.
Huh.
There you go. Get you
Okay.
some.
Get you some window
Window
film.
tinting. That's right. You tint your windows in the car. Why not tint your windows? All right. There you go. I don't know. Okay. Number 3, shut and insulate your doors. If you're spending most of your time in one room, close the other doors in the rooms that you aren't using, like bedrooms, bathrooms. That keeps the cooler air in the single area. And if you have doors with gaps at the bottom, add some insulation. Or get one of those those long stuffed animals.
Yes.
They make like rabbits or what are they? Or door stops, but they make animals like
Yes.
cats that like have
Their
that long
legs
body.
are real long. Yeah. I've seen those. Yeah.
We've all gone over to someone's house, and there they sit. There is one of those. Okay. And you wonder when you're at the store and you see one, who buys those?
Oh my ladies.
Okay, well, it's saying here to get them. Okay, number 4, use fans the right way. Okay, now this is where a lot of people, fan 101 right here, okay, get a little bit confused with fans, okay? Okay, creating a cross breeze with fans is the best way to circulate cooler air and push out hot air. Find the coolest part of your house and angle the fan towards the hottest part of your house. Okay, so the coolest, you're going to angle the fan towards the hottest, or set up a makeshift air conditioner by putting a big bowl of ice in front of the fan.
Now I've seen that before.
No, I have never seen that.
Yes.
I've only seen that like on cartoons or something. I did not know you could do that.
Yes.
And that actually
It
sends
does.
out the cold
It
air?
does send out
Oh,
cold
I
air,
want to
yeah.
try
We
that.
did that camping one year just to try it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a fan, you're camping, that's called glamping.
Oh yeah,
Laura.
absolutely. Absolutely.
What are you doing with a fan if you're camping? Laura
You
Lee.
have to have a fan. What are you talking about?
Okay, let's see here.
Absolutely.
So using the fan the right way. Okay, number 5, manage the humidity. Humidity can make the summer heat feel worse. A dehumidifier, which I get confused because you have a humidifier and then you have a dehumidifier. A
Okay.
dehumidifier won't lower the temperature, but it will help you feel less sticky and uncomfortable.
Huh.
So the dehumidifier. So it's funny because I actually was with someone and they thought that they were getting a dehumidifier and they got a humidifier and they were trying and I was like, it won't work. You have to have the dehumidifier. And so there really needs to be a big discussion between the two because they do different things.
Yeah.
But they're a little confusing, the dehumidifier versus the humidifier. But maybe we should ought to just make a show about that.
We could do it. We could do it.
warning, warning. Which do you need?
Oh my Lord.
All right, so that is it hot enough for you, Dave? Okay, there we go. All right, this is awesome. National Vanilla Ice Cream Day.
Oh
Vanilla bean.
yeah, absolutely.
Have mercy. You can't beat just good vanilla ice cream. Or what about homemade ice cream?
Oh yeah.
Oh, my grandmother used to make. Oh, that's just such good stuff. That's just yeah. Ooh, peanut butter and chocolate day.
Ooh.
Have mercy.
I automatically go to Reese.
How could we not?
Butter
Yeah.
chocolate.
It just goes together so well.
Oh yeah.
And
I
it just-
remember my days at the dairy bar in Hardensburg when I would dip ice.
Oh yeah,
cream.
you worked there.
Oh yes, I did for many years.
Mm.
And we would make peanut butter and chocolate milkshakes.
Oh.
Everybody was like, "Oh my goodness,
Were they delicious?
Absolute
I
best.
bet. Yeah. See, you make friends.
absolutely, absolutely."
when you're working that and you're handing them something like that, there's nothing that says loving. I mean, that's just like loving in a cup,
Absolutely.
and you're making friends. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, it sounds good. Peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This is also Sprinkle Day.
Ooh.
Okay, years ago. Okay, and I know many years ago there was Duffy's that we had.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and they would take this vanilla cone and they would say, "Do you want sprinkles?" They would just load it up with sprinkles, just load it up
Ooh.
and hand you that, and it was just it was a banner day, and they always made you feel like you got enough sprinkles. I mean, like there was never like, "Oh, could I have?" I mean, they really completely loaded up the sprinkles.
Ooh, that
They were
sounds
never stingy with
delicious.
the sprinkles. So, yeah. Okay, this is also. Do you remember Seinfeld did an episode on this? Yada 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 day.
Uh-huh.
Do you do that? I do that.
Yeah.
Well, yada yada yada. You know, like
Oh,
that. Like when you're trying to finish a sentence.
Mhm.
Oh, yada yada yada. You don't want to explain the rest of it. Maybe when you're talking to your children, oh, yada yada yada. Well, that's all you can get out. And I think it was Seinfeld for a big
I think
episode
so.
on that yada 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 day. Yeah. So get out and enjoy. It's already. Do you realize how crazy it is? The end of the month, getting close to the end of the month, July, right?
Almost Christmas in July.
Absolutely, yes. And we, my sorority, we did a Christmas in July the other
I've seen
night.
that.
Yeah, that was really fun. They worked hard on that. Yeah,
That's
so
very pretty.
yeah, they did. Yeah, great. So, someone also a little bit of funny things. This is just kind of some. Well, I was gonna say this is some dumb things that doctors have heard. Some dumb things that doctors have heard from patients. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's
Okay,
see.
I have not pre-read this, so I'm here to, and if it's I'm going to try to catch it if there's anything off color. Okay? I'm really trying to. Okay, number one, a guy showed up at the ER with a minor cut and with red powder all over his hand. It turned out that he put paprika on it to stop the bleeding. Okay.
Whoops. But that burned.
Yeah. Okay. This is stupid. I don't know. Okay. This one is just beyond. Okay. This is off color, kind of, but I hope everybody's eating breakfast. I don't know. A lady called her doctor to ask if her hemorrhoid cream would still work on vacation because she read it was supposed to be applied locally. I don't know. These are true. This is say these are actually true. Okay. Okay. Someone had a cut that was seriously infected. They turned it out and they rubbed dirt in it because they'd heard it would stimulate their immune response.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there we go. Let's see here. Okay. Okay.
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. And
We're just gonna leave it at that. Okay. Wah, wah.
No,
Yeah. I
there's
don't
some-
know. Now you wonder about these people. Come on, people. You know what I mean? Think.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Okay, here we go. Okay. 25%, we're going to switch, okay? So that was enough doctor stuff. It gets kind of, some of it's like, really? Okay. 25% of U.S. Parents are unmarried. That's not a huge jump from 25 years ago when 21% were unmarried, but it's a big increase from 50 years ago when just 7% were unmarried. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. The Starbucks at CIA headquarters doesn't write people's name on their coffee cups to protect their identities. Of course, of their spelling of the names of anything like our local Starbucks, that should provide some protection.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Okay, so there we go. Happy Friday, right? So let's find out how's. We had Joe on Monday. It was so awesome to get to talk to him. He's going to come on next Monday, which will be in a few days, and he's going to bring on a special guest with him, and we're going to find out a little more in detail some things that Meadowview's got going on. But I'm just excited to get Joe. He's been a busy man. Get him back
they're gonna talk on Monday about the PCA and CNA classes that
Yes, I'm so excited about
and
that.
Salem Crossing are offering for free.
That's such a blessing.
Also, if you haven't checked it out, check out our Facebook pages, Salem Crossing and Meadowview.
Okay.
Give them a like. They are actually offering employee incentives, and one of them is an attendance bonus.
I love that.
Yes. Super exciting. It's for all staff, so everybody gets, to be involved with it. We're super excited. There's some great sign-on bonuses going on. It's
Well, and I think when we're going to discuss this, Monday, but I do think what a huge blessing for families. Maybe they just don't have that extra to pay for the classes, and this might be a new career for someone and a great career change or something. And it's wonderful. So what a blessing for sure, and it just shows that the corporation as a whole is putting back into the community and supporting and helping the community.
Absolutely.
We were talking about like big places that have a lot of people. And we talked about Walmart, Salem Crossing, Meadowview. Look at all of the employees and people that are there.
Have over 100 employees.
Isn't that fantastic?
It's
what a huge part of our community.
Amazing. The attendance bonus, attendance appreciation bonus, you can get up to $250 bi-weekly. That is fantastic for the families, especially if you're struggling.
Absolutely. That'll help with Christmas or birthdays or anything. Back to school shopping. There you go. Yeah. I love that. That's very good.
Yeah, we're super excited, and we really hope that we can get some traction and get some good people back to our team. And
I love that. That's wonderful. Speaking of that, I think that's wonderful, and I'm anxious to hear about it Monday and go into detail. And so make sure you do tune in on Monday. Something else, Laura, I love this. Our community is such a giving community.
Absolutely.
And they are stuffing today backpacks with stuff. And at the Salem Speedway, when you go, you can receive a backpack. And this is the Autism Giving Back. This is so awesome. And so you will get a free backpack for our child. And I love that. I mean, we take care of our children in our community. Isn't that fantastic?
Absolutely. And I believe they're doing something with like the Jump Start.
The Jump Start is fantastic.
I've seen something where I think Verizon is giving away backpacks from 1 to 4. One Sunday, I don't remember which Sunday.
But there's so many great opportunities, and just like you said, financially getting everybody ready for back to school, and it can be a lot of money, and what a blessing that we've got these programs and people and different, you're talking, they're giving away a lot of backpacks, and, and to collect all of those, to get them all filled and get them stuffed and give them out. I love that. And that's just, something that our community is very passionate about as our youth. Don't you feel?
Absolutely. I work in a lot of communities, and I'm telling you, Washington County is the most giving community you could ask for.
I'm so happy.
If someone has a need and you get it out there, you're going to get some.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing.
And I would find it very hard to, and I would, that somebody, if they did, wanted a new backpack, would not have one.
Absolutely.
I think there's going to be enough backpacks that everyone should have a new backpack starting school off. And, and of course we know backpacks are used a lot.
Absolutely.
Thrown on the floor. I mean, they,
Yeah.
it's nice to have a new one. I remember one time, many, many years ago, I remember buying one and I thought, well, it'll last them maybe another year. And,
By the end of May,
yeah, by the time it's
You
been
know,
thrown
the
on the floor, the
strap
kitchen
is-
floor, because mine, as soon as they come in the door, it would drop.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? It would just hit the floor.
Absolutely.
So backpacks have to be pretty.
Oh, yeah. Well, and with the whole
Good
COVID mess last year, between Lysoling them down and then every weekend I would wash them, and wow, they were rough looking by the end of the year.
No doubt. Well, and then I remember also for those that went to school, they didn't want the lockers to be used, so they had to use backpacks, and that's something. And then I had a few of my girls. This was prior to COVID, but they just didn't want to use a locker, and they just put all their books in these bags, and the bags were so heavy, Laura.
Absolutely.
I'd be like,
I'm telling you, the straps was hanging on by the thread at the end of the year last year. I'm like, woo, you boys have to get some lockers next year, or we've got to find some sturdier backpacks.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work.
So that's such a blessing, and hats off to them for putting that together.
That's
And of
awesome.
course, they're gearing up. The Speedway has got a big race Sunday. It'll be a lot of fun for family entertainment, and they make it affordable too.
Absolutely.
So family friendly. So glad of that. So much happening, exciting time, and a busy time of year for sure.
Absolutely.
But we are still in the summer, Laura, and it's a fun time to enjoy this heat. Right now we're on a stretch of no rain. So just remember working out there, taking care of yourself, water,
Absolutely.
and drinking plenty of water, taking breaks.
Yeah.
Sunscreen.
Absolutely. Sunglasses.
Oh yeah, Mindy Gunn.
Mindy Gunn.
Get those sunglasses on. She cannot get you any new eyes. That's something you got to really take care of. As I sit here and blink.
Yeah, I know.
Makes me start blinking. I know. And she's told me, when your eyes get tired, which we do, right? Because we run full throttle, right? I have a tendency to rub my eyes. She's no, don't you do that. Don't do that. So I'm really, really, really working hard to not do that.
Absolutely.
So try not to touch them or rub them.
Nope, just blink.
But there's nothing like it when you just
I know. When you first wake up.
and you start rubbing your eyes. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's a no.
I know. It's hard when you've done it your entire life.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So it's a hard habit. So I guess yada yada yada.
Yada yada yada.
Yada 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 on that. So anyway, yeah. So I wanted to say that. Once the other thing, real quick. Is it hot enough for you?
Hot enough for you?
Hot enough for you today? And yada yada yada. Okay, those are my two. Those will be used today. I know.
Those
A
girls
little
are going to be
obnoxious,
done
what's gonna
with
happen.
you.
I know. Everybody, get away from her. Do not call because it will be said. All right, Laura, let's take our sponsors.
Absolutely. We have Walmart, Meadowview, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentuckiana Cat and Court, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates,
Yay.
Dr. Mindy Gunn.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. Laura, have a happy Friday, happy weekend.
Happy Friday, happy weekend.
All right, bye-bye.
KCC Dumpster Rental for your cleaning projects is easy with KCC Disposal. If you are a homeowner and you're cleaning out your garage, or you're a business owner with a cleanup project, a rented dumpster can be the perfect solution. Everything can be tossed into one container, out of sight and out of mind. My dumpsters are rented up to 5 days. Just give KCC a call to get a quote and set up a time to get your dumpster delivered. Get rid of all this junk by calling KCC Dumpster Service at 812-946-0774. Or message us at Kentuckiana Cat and Core on Facebook. Thank you for your business, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Quinn Buckner, a proud member of the American Senior Communities team. On the court, I've seen my fair share of victories. But as a nation, we now seek a victory through vaccination. Come on, give me a beat.
I took it.
Of course I took it. The COVID vaccine may feel rushed, but is actually the result of focused collaborative work by experts. Safety steps have not been skipped. Give me a B.
American Senior Communities, where caring people and teamwork make the difference.
WSLM will be back everywhere you are this fall for high school football action. Get in the WSLM Sports Zone on 97.9 FM, 1220 AM, and online at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
That's right. You can stream your favorite local team online at your choice of platforms, plus listening live on the radio.
Follow the West Washington Senators, Salem Lions, and Eastern Musketeers and their Patoka Lake Athletic Conference and Mid-Southern Conference opponents beginning in August.
We'll be unveiling our new sports broadcasting team for 2021 soon, so stay tuned to see who will be bringing you play-by-play action each Friday night.
And stay with WSLM when you drive home from the big games with Coach Bob Lovell on Indiana Sports Talk from 9:30 p.m. to midnight each Friday and Saturday night. When you're listening to WSLM, you've got front row seats to all the local college and NFL action.
This is Melissa Jeremiah with Hoosier Uplands Home Health Care and Hospice. Our professionals are available at 812-849-4447 to answer any questions you have regarding home health care or hospice. Summer break has ended for our children. Please be mindful of our community's children. Slow down, be aware, and drive safely. Every child should have a safe walk to school. Our family at Hoosier Uplands would like to wish you a safe school year.
Racing returns to Salem Speedway July 24th with Dollar Beer Night. You'll see the Super Cup Stock Car Series back with twin 50-lap features. The Lucas Oil Great American Stocks will be at it again with a 50-lap feature. And the MR Heating and Cooling Crown Vic are back running the small oval with the high pegs. HotRex.com Legends will be on display with a 25-lap feature. Random Rides of Salem will be hosting a classic car cruise as well as a burnout contest. And don't forget, bring school supplies for Indiana Racing for Autism Awareness Backpack Giveaway. The Speedway's in need of school supplies to fill 68 backpacks. Gates open at 2. Racing begins at 5. As always, tickets are $15. Kids 12 and under are free. Get tickets online at SalemSpeedway.com. At Salem Speedway, the racing so fast, it's already history. And don't forget the Stock Car Fest coming August 14th and the Gas Midwest Compact Tour Series coming August 28th.
It's starting to warm up outside, and Brad, you know what that means. Brad, what are you looking at?
Oh, I was looking at the grills.
What?
The grills are coming in, Becky. It's grilling season at Walmart. Check out our great selection of charcoal, gas, and pellet grills and our selection of Blackstone griddles.
And after you've picked out the perfect grill, head on over to the produce and the meat department and get great deals on grilling vegetables and pick up the perfect combination of fish, seafood, pork, chicken, or steak to make that first great outdoor meal of the season.
And if you're starting that outdoor patio, Walmart has fire pits, gazebos, folding and plastic chairs, and all the landscaping, plants, mulch, and rock to make your special place a great summer to relax.
Flowers and garden plants are coming in every day, and we have everything you need to get your garden started right. Fertilizer, seeds, tools, and more.
And of course, if you're looking for professional outdoor power tools, Walmart carries a wide variety of Hart brand cordless push mowers, chainsaws, blowers, and hedge trimmers that all run off of powerful 20 and 40 volt batteries. They're made by Milwaukee and put the power to clean up around the house in your hands.
Hey, Brad, I'm going to need several carts.
Hey everybody, it's Brad from your local Salem Walmart. As most of you know, we are doing a remodel right now to refresh and give a new look to your very own local Salem Walmart. We appreciate all you customers being patient with us and just want to say, bear with us, and come July, it's going to be an amazing new shopping experience for you all. And as always, we appreciate your business at your local Salem Walmart.
Dr. Minigun invites you to her new high-tech office in Salem at 1350 South Jackson Street. Her office is a part of Dr. Brad Blackseye Associates, regarded as one of the leading eye care centers in the United States. The combined practice eye doctors and surgeons have helped thousands of people enjoy better vision. Dr. Mindy Gunn is committed to excellence because the people from Kentuckiana turn to her for answers, and patients turn to Dr. Gunn for the best eye care treatment available. If you're experiencing vision problems or having problems with your current glasses or contacts, give her a call today at 812-896-1717. Dr. Mindy Gunn is seeing patients for the latest in advanced eye care. You can get glasses, contacts, or prescription sunglasses. Come visit Dr. Gunn at Dr. Blackseye Associates in their new high-tech paperless office today. They are closed on Mondays, open Tuesday 9 to 6, Wednesday 8 to 5, Thursday 9 to 6, Friday 8 to 5, and every other Saturday 8 to noon. Most insurances are accepted and affordable payment options can be worked out with you. To schedule your next eye appointment, again, call 812-896-1717. You'll be glad you did, and she'll be glad to take care of your eyes.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the
Three states with lower vaccination rates accounted for 40% of all cases nationwide.
He added, though, that residents in Florida and other states with high numbers are also becoming vaccinated at greater rates than the rest of the country after what he called feeling the impact of being unvaccinated. As the Delta variant of the coronavirus continues to cause new increases in the numbers of cases, it's also wreaking havoc on the economy. More from Elisa Z.
Mark Hamrick, senior analyst with Bankrate.com, says there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Uncertainty is not the friend of consumer confidence or of financial markets. And so to the degree that we can have more certainty about the pandemic and the economy, that would absolutely be a better thing.
Hamrick also says this back-to-school season is one like no other. For every parent who stays home to care for a child, the economic recovery is strained.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Howdy, folks. Greg Martin at Billy Martin Store in Martinsburg. I'd like to start off by thanking all of our loyal customers for the support that you give to us year after year. We are the oldest Indiana family-owned and operated business, and have been serving you now for over a century. And as the fifth generation of the Martin family business, our family still tries to spend each day making you, our customers, number one in both sales and service. Billy Martin Store carries a complete line of home furnishings, appliances, and floor coats that should meet any demand that you have. Billy Martin Store sells to you every day at low prices, whether you're building or just replacing. We service what we sell, and we will continue to the best of our ability to stand behind you if a problem should occur. So now that you have the facts, why not make your next purchase from a family that does care about your needs and will be happy to serve you in any way. So check us out, tell your friends, and drive on down to downtown Martinsburg, or feel free to give us a call at 967-3997, and we'll be glad to help.
MPP in Campbellsburg, Indiana is hiring. We are direct hiring again for production roles and would love to talk to you about joining our growing team at our Campbellsburg plant. MPP is a premier powdered metal manufacturer in the area, so come check us out and find out how you could have a rewarding, long-term career in manufacturing, along with a safe place to work, competitive wages, 401k with company match, tuition reimbursement, and even a free health insurance option, plus so much more. Check out their website.
We're never more than 20 minutes away from the weather on WSLM Radio. This weather forecast is brought to you by MPP of Campbellsburg. MPP is direct hiring. MPP, a safe place to work, competitive wages, 401k with company match, tuition reimbursement, and more. Go see them at 596 West Oak Street in Campbellsburg, Indiana, or check them out online at mppinnovation.com. Wednesday morning, sunny along with a few clouds. High 88. Winds north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. This weather forecast has been brought to you by MPP of Campbellsburg. With your WSLM Weather Bird forecast from the WSLM Weather Station, I'm Becky White.
Racing returns to Salem Speedway July 24th with Dollar Beer Night. You'll see the Super Cup Stock Car Series back with twin 50-lap features. The Lucas Oil Great American Stocks will be at it again with a 50-lap feature, and the MR Heating and Cooling Crown Vic are back running the small oval with the high pegs. HotRex.com legends will be on display with a 25-lap feature. Random Rides of Salem will be hosting a classic car cruise as well as a burnout contest. And don't forget, bring school supplies for Indiana Racing for Autism Awareness Backpack Giveaway. The Speedway's in need of school supplies to fill 68 backpacks. Gates open at 2. Racing begins at 5. As always, tickets are $15. Kids 12 and under are free. Get tickets online at SalemSpeedway.com. At Salem Speedway, the racing so fast.
Warning. This program may be found offensive by pencil-pushing, bean-counting, research-loving program directors and radio consultant gurus. In the beginning, there was fun on the radio. Then the radio industry fell victim to corporate America and venture capitalist bankers who marched in with their research and up to their armpits in debt and turned the radio band into a wasteland of cookie cutters, faceless, sound-alike stations who completely lost touch with the people they were meant to serve. Then there were two voices that cried out in the wilderness, faint at first, but becoming louder with every passing ratings book. It's okay to have fun again, to give the people what they really want to hear, and not treat them like a sea of mindless followers who have no choice in their radio entertainment. Welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show.
That's right, baby. Still here 27 years later. 7 minutes past. We coming up this hour, Olympic correspondent Chris Wood. Is he Woods or Wood? Wood. Single? Wood. Wood. Chris Wood, Olympic correspondent, coming up this hour. You may remember him playing the role of Black Friday. And he's been our correspondent, also aspiring hockey play-by-play man. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, and Eddie Van Abden.